joining us on this to learn about tips on how to win the Google Online Marketing Challenge. We are joined by Khalil. We'll let him introduce himself in just a minute to tell us how he's helped other teams be successful in the Google Online Marketing Challenge. So Khalil, why don't you tell us a little about yourself, and we'll go right into the tips that you have for us.
Cool. Okay, thanks, Clint. So I'm Khalil Corazo. I'm from the Philippines. So I've been training students in the Google Online Marketing Challenge since 2010, and both in the University of Asia and Pacific and also the University of the Philippines, Cebu. And for the past since 2010, at least there has been like one team each year who has gotten high ranks in the challenge. In 2011, it was like one team got into the regional finals. In 2012, we produced a champion in the region. And 2 years ago, there was another finalist, and last year we had a semi-finalist. So I think we've been doing some things right. So I just want to share that with all the other guys there organizing teams for the GOMC. Okay. So I wrote a blog post on this, covering 8 points that I think contributed to our success. So and those 8 points are first you have to have the right team, and second, or the right team composition. The second is like you have to simulate the competition prior to the actual competition. Third is to help the students pick the right client. Fourth is to use some techniques for gamification techniques, which essentially help the teams work hard. And fifth, you create the right content. Number six, do frequent optimization, optimize all metrics as many features as possible. Seven is to use their own version of the client's website, and eight, to do quality assurance. So let me just go through each of those. First, have the right team composition. So first, well, I've trained around 120 students for the past 4 years. That the successful teams first, these teams had experience working together before, because like in the way we train, it takes months, and we do it like week by week, some tasks every week, and then these students go months, journals or midterms, and I noticed that the teams with the weak relationships break down. So they must have some going through some pressure as a team together. Second, there must be at least one team member who is comfortable with data. So like students who, like when they look at the AdWords dashboard with all its numbers and graphs, when they get excited with it, other students get discouraged when they see that. So it really depends on the interest of the student. So you have to have at least one guy one student there who's comfortable with with all the data. Also, you have to have at least one team member who has really world-class writing skills, because after the first what you call this judging of Google using an algorithm looking at all your metrics, it's all about the business writing. So it's really what could get you from a regional semi-finalist to an actual winner or a finalist for the region. So, and then I noticed also that the best teams are either 3 to 4 members. When you have 5 or 6, your communication gets more complicated, more complex. But then I noticed that the quality of it really increase uh, in quality. So, and second, so that's the first thing. You have to have the right team composition. Second is like wrote a whole blog post on this on like using what educators call flipped classroom to
Why
organize
don't
the
you tell them
training.
where that
Yep.
blog post can be found? Why don't you tell
Sorry,
them where
Clint.
that blog? Why don't you tell them where that blog post can be found at?
Um, sorry, Clint. I couldn't hear you. I couldn't
Uh,
hear you well.
can you hear me? Can you hear me? Oh, just go on. We'll tell them at the end.
Okay, so yeah, the blog is well, I'll send you a the URL to the blog.
Perfect.
Um,
And we can put that in the description.
you could post it in the video or something like that.
Yeah, perfect.
Cool. By the way, Clint, like I really couldn't hear you. It's like your voice is becoming like tinny and robotic, perhaps probably because of the bandwidth. I suppose we could edit out this part, right? Like
Yeah, we'll try.
anyway, you could just communicate via chat for your comments and all that. Um, okay. So anyhow, let's see. So this is also my first time with Hangouts, so both of us. So the second point there is like you're really orchestrating a simulation of the competition. So you're sort of breaking down the different aspects of the competition. So in the blog post, there's a link there to another entire blog post on like how to plan out the competition. So essentially, you break it down by the different learning objectives, essentially like the different aspects, the skills you need in the competition, and creating the environment where the students could learn them one by one. It also means planning out the content that they will consume to learn those things. But the real learning happens during when they actually do simulate the actual task. For instance, like one major thing is like simply being familiar with the Google AdWords interface. It's a complex machine with many buttons and dials. So you want the students um, to be familiar with that. What I do is like I just one thing I do is ask them to do certain reports or look for certain things, certain data in the tool and the interface, so that they get familiar as well. So I just read more in that separate blog post, and I have there and a sample training plan. Third, um, so um, another critical thing is to help the students pick the right client. So the most common difficulties that the students had were like they would have a hard time talking with the owners or the managers of the business, because you need this to write your pre-campaign strategy document. And also most had a lot of students had difficulty working with website administrators of their clients. Like asking them to create a certain landing page, or to put a like a conversion pixel or an Google Analytics pixel. So later on, I suggest that you just create your own website for the competition that you fully control. So but picking the right client is also critical. My criteria for that is that, well, I ask the students to give me like three options. They look for three different businesses, and first I ask, the first criteria is like they must personally know the owners or the managers, and also I have I try to pick at companies which could benefit from lead generation. So there are three like major kinds of campaigns you could do with Google AdWords. So first, like the pure branding campaign, where your purpose is really just to spread awareness about your company. Second is the lead generation, wherein there's a conversion that you're targeting, which is people inquire or sign up for something. And the third is direct sales or e-commerce. So I think for the purpose of learning, lead generation is the best what you call this online marketing uh, strategy to use, or or the best kinds of companies to work with are those which could benefit from lead generation, because um, the I think the best part of the competition is when the students experience a conversion for the first time. Like, this is, I mean, they just realize this thing is really real. Like, I have there's a customer actually, you know, signing up or inquiring. So also when they sell for the first time. So that's I think the best part of the competition. And I think lead generation is the quickest way to produce some kind of conversion. So that's the criteria I help them. That's the criteria we use for selecting clients. They personally know the owners or the managers, and the business could benefit from lead generation. This is like a good sign of that is that they have salespeople who would make use of leads. Okay, so fourth is like, it's like to make the competition even more interesting is like to sort of break up the competition in smaller wins. So like, so you have that earlier talked about having a plan of tasks. So we already have a competition with those tasks. I give them grades for each task like every week. That's pretty easy for me to check. I mean, I don't really check for like how well they do their tasks. As long as they do it, they get the points. So as long as they do it on time, they get the perfect points. And then, if you look at the blog, I also put a link there of the um, the dashboard we used. There's an example there. So this sort of simulates like what happens with these gamified internet platforms like Quora or like Reddit as well. So like people are spurred to really work hard to get points and compete with their teammates. So I don't know, it worked for um, my students. It probably doesn't work for all learning objectives, but I think for online marketing this is a good practice for what you're actually going to be doing professionally. I mean, it's a lot of competing with numbers. So and then a fifth is you one role of the trainer is to sort of curate content. So there's a lot of good content about online marketing and pay-per-click management online. So your job is really to slowly give them the right content. If they're learning, say for instance, keyword research, so you give them the right content for the keyword research. I mean, the better students also do their own research for the best content. But at the minimum, the teacher or the trainer gives them the best content for the specific thing they're trying to learn at the specific time. Um, for books, the one I always use um, are Google AdWords for Dummies by Jacob Sutton and Advanced Google AdWords by Brad Geddes. So, if it's not available in your library, you can easily order it. And then so this is one area where you're sort of doing something different versus like the actual how you actually do optimization. So um, so I think because like the first part of the competition is like this algorithm checks all the metrics. Like they say this, like they measure at least 30 metrics of your campaign. So my guess is that um, like they measure metrics which is sort of like measurable or sort of equal across all sorts of campaigns. And one thing there is I think is a quality score, and then also the click-through rate, and maybe more relevant is the improvement of your quality score and the click-through rate. There are other metrics there. Again, they say they measure at least 30, but I think those are the key ones. So in real life, you may not like you may be you may be satisfied with a low quality score as long as you're getting a good cost per conversion. But for the competition, you want to optimize for all those metrics. You also want to optimize frequently. You don't do that for most campaigns, stable campaigns, um, in professionally. But for the competition, I've seen um, teams get better results if they optimize every day. Like maybe a different aspect, like improve ads or turn off some campaigns or ad groups, or put in more budget on better performing campaigns, or adjusting your bids, increasing keywords, increasing negative keywords, things like that. So like maybe the rule of thumb is like make an improvement every day. So yeah, also I think it would matter if you use as many features as possible. So this is like there has to be a balance with doing or performing well, as well as like using as many features as possible, because you might spread yourself too thin. I think the best way is like what are the features which are most appropriate for the specific client. So for instance, like the GOMC says that they're not really measuring the results of the your display campaigns, but if that like is applicable for your client, I think you could use that as well. Or like remarketing, and there are newer features now like remarketing for search, and there's also video and all that. So, but I think the competition is limited to text ads, so I think those are your limitations. So, and then seven. So I mean, this is I think this is the your clients probably have a website, but like for most of the clients of my students, they weren't really designed for conversions. So rather than asking the client to have their website pre-designed, I just asked my students to create a simple website, and using website creator like Weebly, Wix, or Squarespaces. You have other options there. And this is a chance for them to learn conversion-driven web design. So yeah, so I think it's if you're gonna teach uh, traffic acquisition like AdWords, I think you also have to teach um, the post-click marketing, which is a key part is the conversion web design and conversion rate optimization. So, and it's you don't really need to know don't really need to learn how to code to do this. Just it's really about understanding how people interact with websites, and how you could use layout and copy to essentially persuade people to convert. Like to a lead, like signing up or inquiring about the product and service. And lastly, just make sure you do not make those minor mistakes which could cost you the competition. So in the blog post, so I posted there 2 checklists for quality assurance. So these are like the checking minor things like I mean your for instance for your pre-campaign strategy, is you're following the right format with like the right margins and the right spacing. So I don't know if Google actually like disqualifies teams for that, but you don't want to take the risk. And if you look at all the winners and they follow those guidelines, so you want to check on that. Also, I have a checklist here of like the quality of the account setup. So this might be a bit dated. You might want to check the official website for the rules. And also as a bonus, I made this research. I place a link in the blog as well. I interviewed 12 pay-per-click professionals all over the world, and I got their inputs and like how do you actually teach online marketing? What are the skills you need, and what are their ways of training. So it's all there. I presented this as well in a conference. So just check out that those I have 2 posts about that and a slide deck that I use in the presentation. All right, so that's basically the my my experience in the past 4 years. So I hope it will help your trading as well. Um, so Clint, if you have any questions, just
Yeah. Can you
yeah,
hear me?
yeah, but it's better now. You still sound like a robot, but I could understand you.
Okay, perfect. I just had one question. I saw in one of your posts that you mentioned minor minor mistakes that teams
Sorry, Clint,
make that get them
you're breaking. Could you
disqualified.
just type in your question?
Yeah. Um,
Maybe you could talk about it for the video and then type it as well so that I could read it.
right. I'm just asking what are minor mistakes that teams make uh, that get them disqualified?
So what are the minor mistakes that teams make that get them disqualified? So I think it's happened twice in the past 4 years. Like a minor mistake is like for instance, um, you have a budget per day per campaign, and like a minor mistake in computing that could lead you to like spend all your budget in less than 7 days. So if you spend all your budget in less than 7 days, you get disqualified. If you don't spend like most of your money in more than like uh, 24 days or something like that, you also get disqualified. So just check the rules on that. So that's the most common thing that the teams get disqualified for. Spending too much too soon, or not finding sufficient volume to spend their budget on.
Okay, thank you, Khalil. And there you have it. There are the 8 tips that Khalil has for everybody. So good luck on your campaigns, and we'll talk to you later.